The most important thing is that there's a book of prophecies, and there's only 2 copies in the world, and that's the forerunner to Revelations. And I'm in the book of prophecies, and then Raleigh was in it as well, and he followed it, and so he drew the Rosicrucian cosmography for me, and that confirmed that I was Raleigh's descendant, and it confirmed that I was Queen Anne Boleyn's descendant. Where I found the stone was where I was supposed to find the stone, you know. So
and this changes everything.
It does. It absolutely changes everything. When I went to Westminster Abbey and said, "Look, I've got Jacob's pillow," and they said, "Oh, that's great because the one we've got's fake." And then they said, "Come back the next day and we'll arrange a meeting." So I went back the next day and no one would speak to me.
No way. Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time. I have got an interview that I've been waiting to do for so long. I mean, you want to talk about 2 worlds coming together, Jacob Israel coming together with the king of the UK, Joseph Gregory Hallett. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. It doesn't get any better than this. How did this happen?
Well, it's probably better to say I'm the King of England because the UK is a corporate overlay. It's built on a whole lot of false identities. So King of England is it, right? And Charles is of the United Kingdom and Great Britain and Northern Ireland king. So he's a suffix king.
Right.
King means he's delinquent, and delinquent means he's illegitimate and from a long line of illegitimates and or bankrupt. Right.
So for those of you that don't know, okay. Just a couple of years ago, the king came on the scene for me, and I was just blown away by this, of course, because I'm infatuated with the Stone of Destiny, Jacob's pillow, which he says that he is in possession of.
I sat on it 5 minutes ago.
It's incredible to me. It's incredible to me. So this is something that I've been pursuing for years to try to get you on here to just ask some questions, because I mean, people today, they're gonna say, "Oh, he's the king," right? He's the king. How is he the king? How is this even possible? Can you explain a little bit to people, just give them an idea for those of you that don't know who this guy is?
So thanks. So I've written 25 books. I've got the 26th one coming up, and it's like 1,000 pages, and it's on my great-grandfather being a famous inventor in New York in the 20s and 30s. This is all my books have been suppressed, right? So this one here, Queen Anne Boleyn's Great Escape and Legacy, is the true story about how she escaped her execution. Oh, I should hold it up longer and be shameless.
That's all right. We'll make sure that there's a link to everything. He has a YouTube channel, King of the UK, that you can. I have no problem finding you. I'll put all the links in the description.
It's the YouTube channel's kingof.uk. My website has been sabotaged for the last 12 months.
Okay.
So I'm still paying for it, but the web person.
So you think this is like a threat, like you're a threat to the system?
Oh yeah, absolutely, totally. Like, you know, the way they've treated me all my life has been just disastrous. Like, I've done all these magical things. It's a little bit like magic, you know.
Oh, right. Well, we like magic on this channel. We talk about it all the time, the sorcerers.
And they don't want it. It's a kind of magic is the phrase from like the Highlander.
Okay.
So they don't want my stuff coming out because it's so self-evidently true when you see it, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
How did you come to understand this about yourself?
Well, I remembered stuff from my childhood, how it was a bit unusual that Queen Elizabeth II's Sergeant Surgeon, her doctor, came out to New Zealand and then introduced me to George VI's son. And I had a private audience with him, and he outranked Elizabeth because he was male.
Right.
He was born Christmas 1927. And on the same day I met him, they changed the currency from British pounds and pence to New Zealand dollars and cents, right? But they kept the crown coin in New Zealand. So the crown was retained in New Zealand.
Really?
That's kind of interesting. And then they changed all the royal styles and titles in Australia, New Zealand, and Grenada and Papua New Guinea in 1970 374, 75, and that codified my birthday and my name.
So you're the rightful, like you have receipts that you're the rightful king of England. And this, I mean, if this were the case, this would be like astronomically impossible considering the day we're in. I mean, it has to be some kind of a biblical event. This has to be something that's like been, preordained.
Well, finding Jacob's pillow is preordained because Queen Anne Boleyn's grandson was Sir Walter Raleigh, and Sir Walter Raleigh was in the Cadiz Faro book raid in 1596.
Right.
There were no books in the Oxford Library, so they mashed up the Cadiz harbour and then went to Faro and stole the Bishop of Faro's library. But Sir Walter Raleigh went with some Dutch 6 miles inland to Estoy Milru and up to Sobra de Epotel and got the Book of Prophecies. And there's only 2 copies in the world, and it's the forerunner to the Book of Revelation, right?
Interesting.
And it told him to go 30 miles west to this arch, the 27-foot high arch, go in there and then head 400 yards further west.
So it was like a treasure map.
It was, yeah. X always marks a spot, and that was the cave, right? So he was there in the cave, and he codified the cave in the Rosicrucian cosmography. I'll use the right stick here, right?
Okay.
And that actually names me. That there names second name Gregory, and the 16 and 18 codified Joseph.
Interesting.
Gregory. And that's actually quite a good, accurate drawing of me. That's an accurate drawing of the cave. Those wings are on the cave. I was given that sword. That landform there is on the cave and also on Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. And that cave there, that cliff face there is exactly the cave cliff face, right? So that was all a bit too aligned. On that house there,
right,
is 33 yards that way.
Now, the Rosicrucians, for those of you that don't know, can you give us a little information about them and why their order is so important?
No, I can't actually, because I've never attended a meeting.
Oh,
I just solved all their problems, The Rosicrucian cosmography, they've tried to solve it in all sorts of esoteric ways, but
right.
It's their map, right? Yeah, I don't know how roughly you can see it, but you'll see it on my video on kingof.uk. It's the latest video.
Okay.
And if you get the map of England and turn it so that east is up the page, all of that structure there fits in perfectly in the west coast of England. And these squares here, they actually say brother towards TS, which means towards the stone, to the brothers. The stone is near here. And this rectangle there, it says the stone is near here. The stone, IP for Ichabus pillow, Jacob's pillow.
Okay, so now for those of you that don't know the story in the Bible, Jacob Israel. Okay, so he was traveling from one place to another. He ends up falling asleep on this stone, which is what shepherds would do in the day. There'd be a stone, they put like a fleece on top of it or something to make it comfortable, go to sleep. And at that place, he had this dream of this ladder that was. This is the escalator, by the way. This is the escalator. Now you just got to step up to it, and God will do the rest of the work. But he has this dream of this ladder where the angels of God were ascending and descending. And this stone, Jacob's pillow, is something that I on the channel have talked about for a long time. I even went on, I did a little quest into New York because there was, I don't know if you heard about there's a conspiracy that there's a piece of it at the Master Building. And once again, connected to the Rosicrucians and everything else. If you ever get a chance, I'll send you that documentary. That the piece, there was a crack and the crack of the rock, and that, it was there. So what I'm getting at is I've been on the search for this stone for a long time. Some people think that it's the one that was in, the castle, the one that was underneath Charles when he was actually,
No, that was fake.
That was a fake one. That's what most people say.
Yeah. I went to Westminster Abbey and they admitted to me that the stone that they used as a coronation stone is fake.
Right.
And I wrote to Historic Environment Scotland and they admitted that the stone that they have is fake, right? And they've just spent a £26.5 million renovating a building to hold the fake stone.
Right.
So glass, and you can't get within 10 meters of it because everyone knows it's fake, and you can see it's fake. It's got cracked in 3 places, and it's got pins holding it together.
Right.
It's got chisel marks all over it, right? Now, my stone has no chisel marks. It's the only stone with no chisel marks, and it has no pins in it and no cracks. It's the exact right weight, and it's the exact right length, width, and height. And
now, how do you know that this is not just like you studied the map, you found the map, you got to the place, you did all the due diligence, and it was exactly where it was meant to be? I remember seeing the video of the excavation trying to find it, by the way. It was, I mean, I love that video. It was, but how do you know it wasn't just a stone?
Well, I found the stone by other means in 2020.
Okay.
Autumn 2020 is when it was predicted to be found.
Right.
I studied the ancient maps, overlaid them, and one of them was really weird. Like, all of the rivers, instead of flowing east-west, were flowing north-south, right?
Really?
So that was an indication to get England and turn it 90 degrees, and then get Rosicrucian cosmography and shove it up the west coast of England, and they're exactly where the stone is, right? So I actually found the stone by other means, and when I studied the Rosicrucian cosmography recently and did the latest video, which was put up like 5 days ago.
Right.
That
video.
It marks Jacob's Pillow, and that was exactly where I found the stone.
Wow.
Right? So I found the stone.
Oh, so I get what you're saying. So you found the stone on other way, and then now you have confirmation.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Now, why is the discovery of, the stone of Scone, or the stone, what it was, the stone of destiny, or, some people call it the
Leofel?
Yes, Leofel, and even the chalice that Arthur was after. Some people call it that's the stone, the rock that was refused by the builders. This is like an important. I mean, there's a reason why it was carried from Israel back in Jeremiah's day when Nebuchadnezzar came in. And I find that interesting, the timing of it, that 2020, when we were going through the virus of the crown and everything else, this is when it's discovered. I mean, epic timing. Yeah. And now that you're on my show, this is like, I feel like this is an important thing. Why is this stone so important? Besides, because personally, I want to see it. I want to come and visit, and I want to rub my hands all over it.
Well, the stone has many names. A lot of them are fake. The stone of Scone is a fake name because the fake stone that they have is made of a red granite red stone from the Scone quarry, which is a mile south of Scone Palace, and it's got chisel marks on 4 sides.
Right.
So completely fake. So the stone of Scone is completely fake. It's a colour of law misappropriation of a name, right? So the Irish Leofel is a fair name. The stone of destiny is a fair name. The coronation stone is a fair name in that it was used for coronations in Ireland, and then from about 500 AD, it was used for coronations in Scotland,
right,
until about 1292. In 1296, the Scottish hid the stone because Edward Longshanks was rampaging through Scotland.
Wow.
So they hid it, swapped it with a dummy stone, and then the English brought the dummy stone down to Westminster Abbey, right? So from 1296 on, Westminster Abbey has been crowning on the wrong stone, right? So I'm like the biblical king predicted, prophesized. So I had to find the correct coronation stone, and the true coronation stone and the stone of destiny is portal to the house of God.
Right. Yeah. Right. I got you.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, in scripture, people ask about the ladder, and I tell them the ladder is Christ. It's always been Christ, because today you'll see the Son of Man ascending and descending upon the Son of Man, the intermediary, the connection between heaven and earth, Christ. And, the stone in scripture, that word stone is used quite often. The stone has to be rolled away. so that you could, water the sheep. The stone needed to be rolled away for the tomb. So now the discovery of the stone is pretty amazing. Now, is there any mythology connected to it? Like Jesus said that I have, if no one will worship the stones, will cry out, or something like that. Is there anything like if the real owner of the stone, say, like you come over to it, did lightning strike or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so on finding the stone kind of makes me the King of Scotland or the King of Scots or both, right?
Okay. Now, there are going to be people that are going to be like, this guy has main character syndrome, right? Which, hey, listen, I say embrace it.
I love that main character syndrome.
That's what people would say. That's what people say it to me.
Well, I'm going now. I'm feeling lesser.
Oh, right. Come on. You know what? Listen, I think that you wouldn't be on my show and we wouldn't be talking if there was something very, very important about what you're doing. So I'm not diminishing you. What I'm saying is...
No, I was kidding.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, I was having a laugh. So what was your question before the giggles?
Well, I mean, is there any mythology connected to it?
Okay, so the mythology is, roughly speaking, is a lot of mythologies, right? And I fulfill most of them. The person who holds the true coronation stone of Scotland, the stone of destiny, the portal to the house of God, is automatically the King of Scots and King of England and King of Scotland, right? Now, the day before I found the stone, the night before I dug up the stone, Sean Connery died.
Come on.
And Sean Connery was the preferred King of Scotland.
I am the last dragon.
And he was the main character in The Highlander, playing Ramez.
Right.
Which is me, right?
I can tell you, it's funny because you kind of look like him. You know what I mean? If you had like the long mustache, I could see that. So he was playing your character, is what you're saying. He was playing you.
He's probably a whole lot sexier than me.
Jeez.
He moved well. He was a good... But I've actually worked with a couple of 007s.
Wow.
Anyway, so... there's that you're the true King of Scotland, right? Or I can call out to the heir of David, and the heir of David can answer, and he can be the true King of Scots and true King of Scotland, right? So I'm planning to give the title.
Why am I getting the chills? I got to be honest. I'm getting the chills. That's not normal that happened. Because listen, if I'm being honest with you. The comment section can be like, Jacob, what are you doing? This guy is the king? Come on. He's the portal to God. And I don't think you're saying that you're Christ. I think what you're saying is, you explain that so people aren't like he's saying that he is the only way to God. Explain that so people don't think that that's
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I didn't think you were.
But the definition of Christ comes from Christos. And Christos means king, right?
Yeah, the anointed one.
So especially like, young David, by Samuel, especially priest king, right?
Well, there you go. Well, there's supposed to be a royal lineage of that, not just one, but many.
Well, there's two main ones, the house of David and the house of Ephraim or the house of Joseph.
Right.
And I'm head of the house of Joseph, especially.
Wow.
And the heir of David is the head of the house of David, head of the house of Judah. Right, and we work together now.
Wouldn't it be great if I was related? It would be so awesome if I was related.
So you want to be related now?
Because then it would be like, hey, we already are working together. Yes, I got the king on the show.
Yeah. So there's also the Cinderella prophecy. I had to fulfill that.
Okay, what is that? Explain that.
I had to have. An evil stepmother and two evil ugly sisters.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's not fun.
That got fulfilled, and they actually spoke out against me, which kind of killed the movement back in 2020.
Well, I'm just bamboozled a bit with all of this going on. Because what I've been told, or what you have obviously been told, is not what we lived through or lived with Greg. So I don't know where he gets it all from.
He's made up a lot of stories about us.
But he believes it. But yeah, he does. He believes it, and he believes he is the rightful king of England. But he is the third child, so his elder brother would be the rightful king of England if Greg actually had any rights to the throne, which he doesn't.
And I also had to be the size of 2 men.
Right.
Right, and I used to be 10 stone 10 up to the age of 33.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So I had to get up to 21 and a half stone. Find the stone. And I did. I got up to 21 stone 6, which is exactly double the weight. So I was the size of 2 men when I got the stone. Right?
I hope that you ate healthy after that point.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mum.
On this channel, we talk about serious stuff and we try to have a little bit of fun with it. And I think the reason is because, you know what, I'm willing to accept this, and I was super excited to have you on for a reason. The question is, where do you go from here? Okay, so you're saying you have the stone, you're the king of Scotland, you're the king of England, but more importantly, you know, you need to call out to the heir of David, and you two can work together somehow. Explain where you go.
That's already happening. So I'll just go through another couple of predictions because it's all about prophecy. The whole thing's about prophecy. Right? So you've got the Cinderella story, and you've got the pumpkin that turns into a golden carriage.
Oh, I wish I had that pumpkin.
So the 8-ton digger I hired was digging at Roslyn Chapel, and then so I had to wait 2 weeks for it to turn up to the site, and it was a pumpkin gold carriage.
Wow.
Right?
Are you serious?
Yeah, 8-ton diggers, pumpkin gold carriage. Right? And we dug it up on All Souls Day.
Okay.
Which is
was that done on purpose, or was that just by chance?
Well, I had to go up 6 times. I had to go up 6 stones. Well, I pretty much did have to go up 6 stone, actually. I had to go up 6 times to talk to the farmer, get permission to go on, go up, organise a digger, go back, be there with the digger, get the stone, repair the site, go up and collect the stone again. Too wet to get on the site. It was before the reservoirs went in. It was a raised bit of ground called Square Woods, surrounded by incredibly flooded paddocks where your gumboots would just stick in the mud and your feet would come out of your boots. And then that was happening about 10 months of the year.
Right.
So you could only access it in July, August in traditional times. And now
that is a video that I hope people check out, because that was what really kind of drew me in to want to meet you. And then like all of a sudden you kind of disappeared. I didn't see you for a while, and then like
that's also part of the prophecies that I would disappear for a year or more.
And you did.
I did. Yeah.
And then you pop up, and I just left you I was just like, oh my goodness, he has a stone. I just went to look for it. I've been searching for this thing my whole life. It's funny. I went to Ireland when I was 15. And, that's where I kind of gave my life to God. And I've been on this insane, wonderful journey to learn more about God and to understand our place in it. And like the world right now is it's gotten so ugly and so kooky, but biblically significant, like, I compared Donald Trump to Nebuchadnezzar back in the day, where I said he's going to lose everything, he'll come back, and he did. And Nebuchadnezzar was the one that drove Jeremiah and the stone away to begin with when he came over to correct things. And I feel like Trump is there to correct things again. I feel like we're in prophecy. I feel like there's nothing new under the sun. And I find it very interesting that I finally got you on the show, something that years ago I wanted to do. People are going to say, well, why is that? Well, because it's interesting. You're interesting. And you seem to be someone that truly believes this, and you're trying to express it to people like, look, I got this, I got that. I don't know what you're saying half the time, but I can tell you're sincere.
I've got that as well, which is the letter opener. For the letter Queen Victoria got to me, which awards me the kingship of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and all Ireland.
Okay.
Also fits perfectly onto this.
Now, who gave that to you?
Queen Victoria's great-great-great-granddaughter.
Wow. That's interesting. Like, how did that even happen?
Well, they started to acknowledge me as the King of England. This is the British royal family. They started to acknowledge me as the King of England in 2013.
Wait a minute. So hang on a second. So how did they do that? How did they do that? This is getting interesting.
They actually said, I was in Portugal, and they said to me, if you are the real King of England, I told them I was, if you are the King of England, go to England and you won't have to do anything, and it'll all fall into place.
And what happened?
Well, I went to England in 2015, and I actually had to do some stuff like, find the stone, etc. But it's all falling into place.
Right.
Right. The existing British royal family have been illegitimate for 422 years, and they are like giving away the UK, inviting the enemies in, giving 100 billion a year to no reason.
Right.
And they're just destroying the country. So that people wake up and realize, hey, here's the true king. He's got all these royal marks, and he's got Jacob's pillow, and it's been missing for 720.
How do I get over there to touch it? How do I get to see the stone? How do I get over there? I wish more people would support the channel. You go into the description of the video if you want. By the way, you could sign up for Patreon. You could buy some of the merch. You could anything you want to do, anything you can do to support the channel and the work. Maybe then I can come over, fly out, and come see it. I'm telling you, I really want to. I'm not joking. Like, I really want to.
Yeah. Well, what can I say?
What would it look like to be you, though? Where you have family members, talking down to you and everything else. It must be difficult to have this understanding of who you know yourself to be.
Do you want to know what happened? I'll tell you. Well, it's all about the fulfillment of prophecy, right?
Sure.
So in the Midrash Song of Songs 2, it gives a prophecy for the birth of Christ. And it says, he will be born after the 7 years of, first year is drought. That was the massive droughts in 1954 in America. Then there will be massive starvation. It was 22 million starved to death in China. And then there'll be 3 normal years. And then there'll be dread of war and then threat of war. And that was the Berlin Wall going up.
Do you think do you have anybody around you that is in a position of authority or power that supports you? Or do you feel very much alone?
So I had to be born in 1961, so I was born then, and I was born in Rosh Hashanah, which was taking all the time zones. It was between the 10th and the 15th of September 1961, and I was born on the 15th of September 1961 in New Zealand, which is the 4th of September over here. I was born in the morning, right? 15th in New Zealand, 14th in the UK. So I got that right, and I was born in a hospital called Cottage. Right, but it was a massive, like a Roman building on top of a hill, but it was called Cottage. Now, a manger is a crib,
right,
or a cottage, right? So I was born in a manger, and then we lived in a house that was so small it was also a manger. It was about 7 paces by 3.5 paces.
Okay,
and then we moved behind the bakery, which is the bread shop, which is House of Bread, which is Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I moved to Tauranga, and I lived between Bethlehem and the Mount. Right? So it was all biblical, and I wasn't, No,
I believe you. Listen, and I can tell you that if I could list a litany of things that, I could connect myself to in Scripture as well. Especially Jacob's life. That's why I took the last name Israel. I used to be the head writer for World Wrestling. I actually choked out a wrestler named Angel who walked away with a limp.
Were you a wrestler?
No, I wasn't. I was a writer, though. I was a writer for that. But so my point is that I believe the manifestation of the sons of God is what this world is really waiting for and groaning for. So when people hear your story, I want to remind them that if they took time to look at their story too, they would see the Christ in them too, which is the hope of glory. But sometimes you need somebody like yourself to kind of step forward and be kind of a symbol, if you will, of that. And what do you hope is going to happen?
Well, it's a bit more than symbol. It started off answering symbols and fulfilling prophecies, but it's got to the stage now where it's real, and we're both, myself and the hero David, are both acknowledged in our positions by all the high orders.
Wow.
All the esoteric orders acknowledge us, and they actually work with us now.
So now, where do we go from here? What's like the next step?
Joe Rogan.
Joe, oh, you know what? That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. You know,
with a call in from Donald Trump, because I met Donald Trump on the steps of the Parthenon the 4th of September 1988.
You know, I actually was in his presence twice. I was once at wrestling, and there was a wrestler who was a vampire, and he drank blood, and Trump and Melania were front row, and he spit the blood in the air, and I thought, oh, he's getting fired. It was weird. And then years later, I did another show called Thunderbox, and it was at the Taj Mahal, so we produced them. So I have this weird feeling. Oh, and Ivanka, you want to talk about Jacob Israel? Ivanka Trump, I sold her a pillow. I used to sell orthopedic furniture. I sold her a pillow.
Oh, right.
Jacob sold her a pillow. Ivanka Trump, when she was like 18. How crazy is that? So where's the best place for everybody to find you?
On YouTube channel, kingof.uk.
And
at the moment, kingof.uk, and you can look down there for an email if you need to contact me.
And I got to tell you, I'd like to have you on again, because I feel like there's so much more to talk about. I'm fascinated with the story, and I'm willing to be one of those believers. You know, I'm willing to, because I think people need to see something, something truly amazing happen. God hides the leaders. He hides them to be revealed at the right time. And it's just interesting because, years ago I said, I'm going to have this guy on my show. I got to talk to him, and I got to see that stone. I got to see that stone. We got to work on that. I want to touch it and rub my hands on it. I want to get superpowers.
Right. There'll probably be a crowning on it before we let anyone else sort of.
Oh, all right then. Well, I can dream. A guy can dream.
You get close to it. You can look at it.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody, the links are going to be in the description. I hope that you enjoyed this. Hope you look a little bit deeper into this story. Learn about the Stone of Destiny. Learn about, this story. It's our story, my friends. And you know what? There is a king waiting, and right inside all of you, Christ in you. And check out this book right here. Take a look at this book, Queen Anne Boleyn by Joseph Gregory Hallett. That does look like, that's a cool cover too. Especially if you want to read. And of course, all the links are in the description. I love each and every one of you. I hope you have the best day ever. Thank you very much. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.